And we are back to What Did AI Say at VickyL-4AI on YouTube. Thank you so very much for coming back to the podcast. As always, gratitude is the attitude. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into episode number 58. We're going to start with Chatgpt, and the question is, what is the difference between gentrification and urban development? Which is better for society? Here we go. Gentrification and urban development often get talked about together, but they're not the same thing, and understanding the difference helps explain why one can help a society while the other can harm parts of it. Gentrification versus urban development. 1. Gentrification. What it is: a market-driven process where wealthier people and businesses move into historically lower-income neighborhoods, raising property values and living costs. Key features: rents and property taxes rise. Long-term residents, usually working class or marginalized groups, are priced out. Culture and community identity change or disappear. New businesses cater to higher income newcomers. Why it can be harmful: displacement of residents and small businesses, loss of cultural heritage, increased economic inequality, community fragmentation, potential benefits, but uneven, improved safety, increased investment, better infrastructure and services, but usually not for the original residents. Bottom line: gentrification usually happens without protecting and people already living there. Gentrification usually happens without protecting the people already living there, so benefits are not shared equally. Urban development. What it is: a planned, intentional process to improve a city's infrastructure, housing, public services, and environment. You know what I wanted to mention? I'm going to write a question to myself. I wonder if the areas that have the highest homelessness are areas in places that have been gentrified or close to them. So we're going to ask that question another time. Are homeless areas close to gentrification? Or homeless settlements, I guess. Close to gentrification areas. I think that would be a good question. Or gentrified areas. Okay, let's continue. Just needed to. Okay, key features. So now we're on urban development, and let's talk about the key features of urban development. Includes public input, urban planning, and long-term strategy. Focuses on transportation, affordable housing, parks, utilities, schools, business corridors. Can include protections for current residents. For example, rent control, mixed income housing, community benefits. Why it can be beneficial: raises living standards for everyone, reduces inequality when done responsibly, improves mobility, green spaces, safety, and economic opportunities, strengthens the community rather than replacing it. Potential drawbacks: if poorly planned, development can unintentionally lead to gentrification, but it doesn't have to. Bottom line: urban development can be done with inclusion, giving benefits without displacement. So which is better for society? Urban development is better if it's equitable. It aims to improve the city for current residents, not replace them. Gentrification, on the other hand, is usually a symptom of market pressures, lack of affordable housing policies, disinvestment followed by sudden selective investment. Its benefits are often captured by newcomers and developers, not the community that existed before. How a society benefits most. Cities thrive when development protects affordable housing, involves community voices, regulates speculative real estate investment, mixes incomes rather than segregates them, preserves local culture, ensures long term residents can stay. This model is sometimes called inclusive development or anti displacement urban planning. If you'd like, ChatGPT can explain how gentrification starts and give you signs of how you can notice it happening in your neighborhood and real examples from different cities. And it also says, or solutions cities use to prevent displacement. So if you want to take a deeper dive into this subject with ChatGPT, you are able to. Okay, let's move right on to Deepseek. And just in case you forgot the question, let me ask it again. What is the difference between gentrification and urban development? Which is better for society? Excellent question. This is a central debate in modern urban planning, and the distinction is crucial. At its heart, the difference lies in who benefits from the changes. Defining the terms. Urban development, what it is: a broad, planned process of improving and managing the physical, social, and economic aspects of urban areas. Focus: the overall health and functionality of the city. This includes infrastructure, public spaces, housing supply, and economic opportunity for a wide cross section of residents. The key characteristics: intentional planning led by public policy and comprehensive plans. Inclusive growth aims to benefit existing residents alongside new ones. Infrastructure focus: building schools, parks, public transit, sewage systems, and roads. Mixed income housing often includes policies for affordable housing units to prevent displacement. Community input ideally involves residents in the planning process. Let me repeat that. Community input ideally involves residents in the planning process. Examples of urban development: building a new light rail system to connect a neglected neighborhood to job centers. Converting a contaminated industrial site, brownfield, into a public park. Implementing a citywide inclusionary zoning policy that requires new developments to set aside a percentage of units as affordable. A city government investing in repairing roads, schools, and libraries in a low income area. So these are all examples of urban development. Let's continue. Okay, gentrification. Remember, we're on Deepseek's answer now. What it is: a specific, often market-driven process where a poor urban neighborhood experiences an influx of investment and middle or upper class new residents. Focus: the economic upgrading of a neighborhood which is driven by private market forces seeking profit. Key characteristics: market-led, driven by developers, investors, and individual home buyers/renters. Displacement, the most defining and criticized feature. As property values and rents rise, long-term lower-income residents and small businesses are often forced to move out. Cultural shift. The social and cultural character of the neighborhood changes, often leading to a loss of its original identity. Uneven benefits. Newcomers and property owners benefit from rising values, while renters and the community's original social fabric suffer. Examples of gentrification. A formerly working class neighborhood with low rent sees an influx of artists. followed by investors buying and renovating properties, leading to trendy coffee shops, boutique grocery stores, and skyrocketing rents that push out the original residents. We're all familiar with that. A large tech company moves its headquarters to a lower income area, attracting high paid workers who bid up housing costs, making it unaffordable for the existing community. Key differences at a glance. Feature gentrification, urban development, primary driver market forces, private investment, public policy, planned intervention, primary goal, profit, individual commercial gain, public goods, citywide improvement impact on existing residents, often leads to displacement aimed for inclusion and benefit housing affordability, typically decreases dramatically, aims to preserve or increase it, process, often organic, chaotic, market-led, planned, regulated, policy-led scope, hyper-local, neighborhood level, can be neighborhood or citywide. Wow, that's at a glance. Goodness gracious. Okay, which is better for society? Moving right along here. This is not a simple good versus evil question. The answer is equitable urban development is better for society, while unchecked gentrification is harmful. The problem with gentrification creates winners and losers, exacerbating inequality. The costs are severe. Displacement, the human cost of forcing people from their homes, social networks, and communities is profound. Loss of diversity, neighborhoods become economically and culturally homogeneous. Social stratification, it reinforces a divide between the wealthy and the poor, often along racial lines. Erosion of community, the very things that made the neighborhood attractive, its culture, history, and social bonds are often destroyed in the process. That's very true. The promise and peril of urban development. Urban development is a tool, and like any tool, its value depends on how it's used. Excuse me. Bad urban development can look a lot like state-sponsored gentrification. For example, urban renewal projects in the mid-20th century often bulldozed vibrant minority neighborhoods for highways and luxury buildings, displacing millions. Good, equitable urban development is the idea. It seeks to harness investment and improvement without the displacement. The ideal equitable development or inclusive growth. The best path forward is a form of urban development that consciously mitigates the harms of gentrification. This is often called equitable development. Principles of equitable development. 1. Prevent displacement. Use strong tenant protection laws, rent control where effective, and provide legal aid for tenants. 2. Build affordable housing. Mandate inclusionary zoning, preserve existing affordable housing, and fund public housing. 3. Invest in people, not just place. Connect long-term residents to new job opportunities through local hiring agreements and job training programs. 4. Preserve community character. Support small legacy businesses and protect cultural landmarks. That's a good one. Preserve community character. Support small legacy businesses and protect cultural landmarks. 5. Ensure community voice. Give residents a genuine seat at the table in planning decisions that affect their neighborhood. That is true too. Conclusion. Think of it this way. Gentrification is what happens when improvement is left entirely to the private market, which has no incentive to be fair or inclusive. Let me repeat that. Gentrification is what happens when improvement is left entirely to the private market, which has no incentive to be fair or inclusive. Urban development is the framework we use to guide growth. When it is done properly, I'm sorry, when done poorly, it can cause harm. When done equitably, it is the antidote to gentrification. Therefore, the goal for a healthy society is not to stop cities from changing or improving, but to pursue a model of urban development that ensures the benefits of growth are shared by all, not just a privileged few. The better outcome is one that improves a neighborhood's infrastructure and economy while protecting and empowering the people who already call it home. Okay, that was good. That was Deepseek's conclusion. Okay, so that was very interesting. There were some things in that I was not aware of. So I did learn something from that. And also, okay, so how does any of this affect our daily lives? Well, we know that urban development, if done properly and equitably, is better than gentrification, because gentrification is usually ran by private market, private sector, and they don't care about being equitable. So the question becomes, if gentrification, if urban development if when done equitably, is better for society, then why is gentrification the one that's done the most? And why, as citizens of our country, do we allow this to happen? I'm also wondering, because I know that there are quite a few homeless settlements in uh, certain states. I'm sure almost all states by this time have homeless settlements, but I'm wondering if those settlements came at the on the tail end of a gentrified area. That would be very interesting to find out, because as we've learned, gentrification does push out uh, the residents who have been there, because they get priced out with their taxes on their homes, and also with paying rent. So that's very interesting. So we'll follow up. We'll do a follow up and we'll ask that question. Um, Inclusion is important, and we have got to uh, become better at looking out for all of our citizens and protecting those most vulnerable among us. So I don't remember what state this was, but I just read an article recently about a uh, not for profit, I guess nonprofit organization that actually bought a hotel that was sitting empty. It had, I think, 138 units. They went in, redid it, made them into small apartments, full service with their own bathrooms and kitchenettes, and they moved homeless people off the street into that hotel because it was just sitting empty. There are a lot of empty old malls and empty old office buildings. These can be refurbished and redesigned to accommodate homeless people. And the article that I read, it said that the people paid around $100 a month if they could. That, I think that was the minimum. And there was also social services there on the premises, and I think psychiatrists or psychologists to help them to get back into the workplace and get themselves back on track. So we can make our waiting on the government to fix problems is not going to benefit society as a whole, because this particular administration especially cares nothing for the citizens of our country. So a lot of the responsibility is going to have to fall on us and our communities to work together. And I also think that, another reason why our homelessness is so high is that I believe that our churches no longer help those in need like they used to. Now it's all about private jets for the pastor and this and that, which is a shame. But I mean, this is the world that we live in. I saw a video maybe 2 months ago. I think I probably even shared it on my page where a man was going down the list of I think it was the 6 richest churches and the pastors and what they had and how much money they were worth. The pastors. The pastors. I was like, wow, we've really lost our way. But hopefully, as we continue to experience what is going on and we continue to educate ourselves and learn our true history, we can be better prepared to help and to make our country great for the first time. Okay, let's move on to our saying for today. Let's see. This one comes from St. Augustine. Okay, here we go. St. Augustine. We love truth when it enlightens us. We hate truth when it convicts us. Let me repeat that. We love truth when it enlightens us. We hate truth when it convicts us. Again, that was St. Augustine, and that's a good one. That's so true. Okay, that's all I have for you this episode number 58. Thank you so very much for giving me about 22 minutes of your time. Please come back for our next episode, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Peace.